I know I'm a day late, but I still want to talk about the race that took place at Sonoma yesterday. First of all, nothing happened. Pretty much the whole race was just follow Martin Truex Jr. because no one even tried to race him like most people did in Xfinity race. The closest we got was Kyle Busch, but other than that, it was basically it's basically just follow leader. It was an F1 race at Sonoma, basically. And there's gonna be some ignorant people out there that think that you didn't enjoy the race because there's no cautions, there's no crashes. That's obviously sure. Yeah, obviously. That's got something to do with it. Maybe because people wanted to see actual racing, not just people going in straight lines with some occasional passes every 5 laps. Like, that's not fun. I don't know why. I don't know how people could enjoy that race. First of all, I'm not mad they took away the stage cautions, for the road courses, but my God, no one even tried to race Truex. It was basically one of those races where nothing happened. The track was just too narrow, and the car sucks. I don't know how people could enjoy that race. And of course, people are going to be biased because I don't mind Truex, but whenever he wins a race, people are going to be biased and they're going to rate it a 10 out of 10. But if that was, let's be real, if that was Kyle Busch that one, or Denny Hamlin or someone else, it would be rated as like a 1.5 out of the 10, which I rated that. And even if Stenhouse and McDowell was leading the race or won the race, it still would have been a 1.5 out of 10 because this race is not fun. This track is not fun. We're not in the 90s or 2000s anymore. This track is way past its prime. And seriously though, Montreal would be a lot better than Sonoma. It would blow it out of the water like a fish out of water. Yet, because people think that, because Truex won, it shouldn't be taken off the schedule, which is stupid, man. It's not because of that. It's because this track is so forgettable. Outside of Daniel Suarez winning last year at Sonoma, this track has not been memorable. Have you seen any sorts of memorabilia in the recent years on compilation lists outside of Daniel Suarez winning last year, his first win? It's an honest question. If I could remember, nothing even happened in that race last year as well. Nothing at all. This race was not good. I'm just being honest with you. This race was trash. And because then and there's and crashes has nothing to do with it. All I wanted was to see some good freaking racing, some actual battling for the lead, some more passing going around, rather than just people putt-putting around doing nothing, wasting time, being time consuming, and the race felt like it took forever to finish. It was basically typical that it was like that. Like, sure, I did not like the Coda race, but at least something happened. To be fair and to be granted, it was a wreck fest at the end, but before that, at least something was happening. Sonoma, the whole race, nothing happened at all. It was just boring. Your typical boring road road course race. That's like the only one outside alongside Road America and the Cup Series that's just boring. Like, I don't know how people could have enjoyed that race. I guess they really like I guess they really like watching that kind of racing where they don't do nothing. I guess they like F1 style racing, I suppose. Basically, Truex was Max Verstappen, and everyone Max Verstappen and everyone else was like Ferrari drivers and Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, Kyle Busch was Lewis Hamilton. Right there at that moment. It's just a shame. A race had me nearly fell asleep a few times. And near the end I was like visiting with family, and I didn't even watch the post race. I just took off the headphones off, and it was still playing, but I went over and talked with some family members and pet the dog that was there, the family dog. And what else needs to be said? Sonoma needs to be off the schedule. It's been clear since like 2017 or 2018 or 2019. I don't know. The last really good finish that the track has ever had was the Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin battle, and that was 7 years ago. Everything else ever since then was just boring. No attempt for the lead, and was just a very tiresome track. It's either Joe Gibbs, Penske, or Hendrick winning at this track. It's basically the same stuff every year. Nothing new happens. And I'd like to know why people enjoy that race. I don't care if it's strategy. I've seen much better strategy races that actually could have produced some actual good racing, not that. So yeah, that's why I think Sonoma should be off the schedule. This track is just washed. It's not good anymore. Or it could be illusion the car's making it look like that. But even with the Gen 6, this car was trash. Or this race was the track was trash. Outside of outside of like I guess to 2016, like I mentioned with Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin. Outside of that, the race have been like really mid, and I guess maybe even 2014, and I suppose with Carl Edwards and Jeff Gordon. But outside of those few exceptions or those couple exceptions, hell, I might even just throw in 2013 in there too. But outside of those few exceptions, this track has been painfully hard to watch. I'm not even joking. That's a fact. And since it's a road course, people of course near the end were just spinning out, wrecking and stuff, but there's no cautions. Yeah, that's a good race. That's some good stuff you got there. I don't like road courses are like that where people are just spinning out constantly. It's stupid. I get it. It's some inexperience, but to the naked eye, people might find that fun to watch. But if people are just gonna spin out and there's a threat of a caution coming out, like seriously, there was like people spinning out in front of the traffic, like doing full 360s if I can remember. But who am I to blame? I can hardly remember crap from that race because our race was so damn boring. I like zoned out. Like the Xfinity race, I wasn't even paying attention. That race was freaking boring. It was so awful. But at least the commentators like Adam Alexander tried to make it interesting. And at least there was a decent battle between Larson and Almirola at the end. The Cup race had none of that. It had nothing. It was basically a follow the leader race where nobody could try and do anything with Truex. They just basically let him have that win, and they basically handed it to him. And because of that, people are going to rate it a 10 out of 10 because Truex won. But I'm still sticking to my gut. I'm calling it a 1.5 out of 10. I've even seen some people calling it a 7 out of 10. Like, why? That race was horrible. That race had nothing to offer. Had nothing. I know I'm just repeating myself now, but it's true. It's facts. How even long is the highlights video? The broadcast was atrocious too. According to Fox, NASCAR and Fox, the video's over 10 minutes, but most of it is just stages like coming to an end, people spinning out, and the finish. That's basically the whole race right there. There was nothing. How long was the NASCAR race? Or in the NASCAR video? That was also 10 minutes. But then let's go and check out a video from the prior weekend. The Xfinity race was under 10 minutes. Wow. The last weekend for Gateway was over 11 minutes. People need to face it. This track needs to go. It needs to be reevaluated or something. This track is not good. And no, I don't want it to be an Indy road course or any of those gimmicky tracks. I just want it to be freaking good. I want some actual decent racing, and those ignorant pussy fans are not helping. We're gonna say this and that and about how people think about races, saying, "Oh, you just want crashes." Well, no, piss off. Nobody wanted crashes. We just wanted some good freaking racing. Yeah, sure. Who's the dimwit who wanted people to go spinning out into the wall and bring constant cautions? Yeah, I don't know, man. Just those people need to get a life. And that's basically what the comment section on YouTube via be like, because everyone's just at each other 24/7. It's that's why I don't interact hardly with that shit anymore. But oh well, who am I to judge? Anyways, this video went on for like 13 minutes. Jesus. 14 minutes, but I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for listening to me rant for about 15, almost 15 minutes. That race was just atrocious. I'm basically just gonna put a super speedway choo-choo train just to explain how that race was for the thumbnail. So, what else? Basically, thanks for watching. I'm gonna head off now. It's past midnight. I don't want to be ranting anymore. Anyways, good night.